Well, it's week 8 of the Scottish hydroelectric season, and at the moment we still have two teams from the Borders unbeaten, Hawick YM and Hawick Lindeen. But will we be saying that at the end of the show? Yes, welcome to Borders Rugby Roundup. More on the fortunes of the two Hawick teams a little bit later on in the programme. But we're here at the Gites this afternoon. It's a Division 2 clash between Peebles and Jedforest. Now here's the interesting thing. Peebles haven't lost here in the league since September the 29th, 2007, when Gala turned them over. Jedforest, on the other hand, haven't lost for the last 6 games. So something had to give. 3 penalties by top Borders point scorer Dan Botwood gave Peebles a half-time lead, 9 points to 8, with Jed scoring a Chris Laidlaw penalty and the only try of the game from Robert Ferguson, scoring his 4th of the season. After the break, plenty of effort from both sides and some good breaks like this one from Peebles number 8 James Oakes, but more handling errors. Peebles managed to hold out with a couple more penalties from Botwood, showing how important it is to have a quality kicker in your side. Final score at the Gites, Peebles 15, Jedforest 8.
Home record, 100% this season. It's a tough game today, another hard border derby. Jed threw everything in the kitchen sink at us in the first half. We just had to defend it. We didn't play particularly well, but turning around at half time we just upped our gear a wee bit and came away with the win at the end.
The guys know that we didn't perform the way we should have performed. At Jed, we've no real superstars and we've got to work and give 100% every week to get a result, which is what we have been doing. But today, I'm not sure exactly what happened. We had a great first half performance and second half we just weren't on the ball at all.
Later on in the programme we've got a competition for you. You can win tickets for the Scotland-New Zealand clash at Murrayfield on November the 8th. But Richie Gray now has the details of the other two Borders sides who took part in Premier 2 this weekend.
Gala lost 33-23 away at GHA, scoring 2 tries from Bruce Dick and Ewan Dodds, while at Poinder Park, Kelso were looking for their first home win of the season against Biggar. Here's Laing Speirs.
Kelso needed this win after losing their last 2 matches, but they had to struggle against Biggar for much of the game. But the visitors did not make life easy for themselves by surrendering a lot of position and possession when near the Kelso line. Kevin Utterson had 3 penalties for Kelso, one of them a massive effort from just inside the Biggar half. And Biggar did frighten Kelso late on with a try, conversion and a penalty with the last kick of the game. But it was too little and too late, and Kelso just deserved their win.
In the table, Jed are still second despite losing, Gala 5th, Peebles 6th and Kelso 9th. Next week it's Gala versus Kelso at Netherdale, Jed are at home to GHA and Peebles visit Haddington.
Turning to Premier 1 now, and Hawick took on Glasgow Hawks, both teams of course lurking at the bottom end of the table. It was a must-win for Hawick. Grahame MacGregor has the details.
Well, Hawick grabbed a try bonus in beating Glasgow Hawks to get their second win of the season, with tries from Ryan Hogg, Colin Murray, David Lowry and Stephen Anderson. It means Hawick jump over Hawks to 10th place in the table, and it meant that coach Jim Hay was a lot happier this weekend.
Once we got in front and we started to score the tries, 4 tries, we got the bonus point, we should have had them dead and buried. Rory Hatton to do that. David Lowry's try, how he set that up and got out of that space, I do not know. But he's like a slinky, I've said it before, he can move his body, he's a bit like the Matrix, and he seems to dodge the tackles the whole time. Great opportunist try. The skill there was Jim Rennick, to set up that try, and excellent. You've got to take your hat off to the boys. He's a great individual flair.
After the break, news of Melrose and Selkirk in Premier 1.
Welcome back to part 2 of Borders Rugby Roundup. Selkirk travelled to Burnbrae to face fellow New Boys west of Scotland. They scored tries from Alec Dunbar and Matt Day, but went down 29-17 to drop to 6th in the table. Melrose were at home to bottom club Stirling County, and Stuart McFarlane was there.
Back-to-back wins now for Melrose, and in fact 3 in the last 4. Craig Chalmers' side certainly showing signs of improvement. Crucially today, John Dalziel returned to the forward line and he marshalled his troops very well from start to finish, setting up David Whiteford for the first of Melrose's 6 tries in this convincing win over bottom side Stirling County. The second half was quite the opposite of the first, a largely uneventful affair, instantly forgettable I would think in the eyes of the supporters. In that first period, Melrose wrapped up the try bonus point, Wayne Mitchell scoring the all-important 4th try 2 minutes before half-time. Discipline is something I'm sure Craig Chalmers will focus on. 2 yellow cards could have cost them dear, but against Stirling they did get away with it. It might be a different story next weekend when Melrose take on Hawick back at the Greenyards.
Teams like Ayr and Boroughmuir are at the top of the league. They'll lose plenty of games yet. And we just got to keep looking after ourselves. We're not bothered about who's where, or we're just looking after number 1. And if we keep winning our games, then we'll be there or thereabouts at the end of the season.
Melrose are now 9th, while Hawick are in 10th place. Next Saturday, as well as the Melrose Hawick Derby, Selkirk will play Stirling at Bridge Haw. In National League 1, Berwick got back to winning ways, but Langham crashed to Murrayfield Wanderers. In Division 2, Hawick YM retained that unbeaten record with a 9-6 away win at Greenock Wanderers, but they face top-of-the-table White Craigs at home next week, which will be their toughest game of the season. In East League 1, all 3 border teams won, including Hawick Lundeen, who made it 7 out of 7 to stay top, while in the second division there were local wins for Glasgow YM and Earlston, who now top the table. As always, full details of results and fixtures are on our website. A quick word about our Borders rugby rankings, which still has Hawick YM as the most successful Borders core team so far this season. Peebles Dan Botwood is top point scorer with 82, while Michael Tate of Kelso has opened up a gap on all other try scorers with a total of 7 so far this season.
Just before we go today, your chance to win a pair of tickets for Scotland against New Zealand at Murrayfield on November the 8th. Here's a Scottish and Jedforest legend, Roy Laidlaw, with the question.
In 1983, I played in the game against New Zealand, which was a draw. What was the score?
So if you think you know the answer to that question, send us an email, bordersrugby@hotmail.com. And that question again, in 1983, Scotland drew with New Zealand, but what was the score? We'll give out the answer and the winner's name on next week's programme. But that's it for today from Borders Rugby Roundup. Join us again next Monday.